I'm going to try and give you a little bit of insight into how to create your own guitar licks in this guitar lesson, or at least a few methods that I've used over the years. I could talk about this topic for ages and give loads of different ideas, but the video would go on forever. So I'm just going to give you a few. If you're not quite sure what a guitar lick is, it's basically a short phrase of melodic notes that creating a melody or accompaniment that you can utilize with several different things you can play, so that you're playing with. So if you're playing to a certain backing track, like a rock style backing track, you could utilize that lick. If you're playing to like a jazz style backing track, you could utilize that lick. It might be in a different key. You could utilize that lick and it will sound different because of the chords that are underneath it, but it will fit with them very nicely. So it's quite hard nowadays to come up with unique guitar licks because there's so many about. So my form of playing, I try not to think too much about licks nowadays, but I used to use licks all the time. So it is good to find that balance, if you can, of utilizing guitar licks, but also trying to think outside of the box as well. And also just improvising, coming up with things on the spot. If you're still not quite aware what a guitar lick is, by the way, just Google it. It's really easy. It'll come up with a definition straight away for you. A good way to think about it is to take another guitar lick, like a well-used guitar lick, such as like maybe this. That's used a lot in like blues. It's used a lot in general, just that phrasing of notes. It's based from pentatonic scale, so minor pentatonic. It fits within a fair few of the different pentatonic box patterns, and it fits within a lot of your standard major and minor modal patterns as well. So you've got this pentatonic box, and we've picked these center notes here. So we've got a root note and then these two notes here, and we're bending this note. I've got a little slide into the first note. So what I like to do to create a little bit of tension and just to add some of the wrong notes or naughty notes is I like to fill in the spaces in between. So I might add, for instance, this note in the middle here. So we've got these three notes in sequence now. So that'll create a little bit of tension, but I might add it in a different spot. So I'll keep this melody in my head, doom, 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 and I'm going to try and slot it in, boom, 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 boom. I'm going to fit it in after the bend. There. And it sounds a little bit too dissonant there, so I'm going to bend it slightly, like a microtonal bend. I suppose kind of a semitonal bend. To create a little bit of tension, but take away the dissonance of holding that note. And then I'm going to go boom, 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 boom. I'm going to go back up to the note that I did prior, the original bend note after that. And I'm going to vibrato it instead of bending it. And then I'm going to land on this note here. So the second note that I play. I'm going to go back to that. Do, 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 do. And then I'm going to land on the root. So I've got some notes, and I've got this kind of odd sounding wrong note in there, which I bizarrely like. I might bend it slightly more to this note just to kind of get that wrong note, but let it resolve a note that is in key. And by doing that and doing the bend real slow, it's changed the phrasing of the end of the lick that I'm playing. So it's now boom, boom, boom. So I've now got different types of notes as opposed to boom, 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 boom. It's now boom, 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 boom. So I've got a combination of different note values now as opposed to them all being the same, which makes it sound a little bit more unique. I took the vibrato out of this note as well now because I've put that slightly speedier line in there on the end. So I've created that lick from this original lick. Okay, and then you could elaborate more on that. You could make the lick longer. That's just basing it off a very basic original lick. I could go further into that. I could go, I want it to sound more dissonant, or I want it to have more notes from a certain scale in it, or I want it to have more notes that don't belong to a scale within it as well. Another thing as well for creating licks, and you probably noticed me doing it there as well, is to envision what note you want to go to. Like singing a note really helps, especially if you do it beforehand. It can help you envision where you want to go, and also singing a pattern or tapping a pattern. So if you have a certain pattern that's like this, try staggering some of those notes. And try and emulate that as opposed to everything being the same types of notes. Then once you've got that lick, repeat it over and over and over and over and over. And what you do to start naturally being able to play those licks without thinking when you're playing to tracks is you get those repetitions in so that your hands can do them naturally. I'll create a separate video on how to use guitar licks, but that's a starting point. We'll call this a part 1 video. It's a starting point for how to start creating your own guitar licks. It's great learning licks, but learning other people's licks, and that's what learning songs is for. Like, take the ideas from a song, but put your own touch on it. Like, make that lick your own. Change it about so it's your lick.